What's good, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in to a new episode of Tune Check Podcast. I'm your host, Chris. And like always, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. So I've actually been wanting to record for like the past couple weeks, but I just wasn't able to because of my allergies. I get really, really bad allergies, and I know that some of you guys do too. So my heart goes out to everybody who's suffering in silence right now. So that's why I was kind of like just doing stuff on social media a little bit here and there. But I'm back and I'm here. I love doing these episodes. I love doing all of this stuff. So I was really just waiting until I got better, to be honest, and I feel really good right now. And it also kind of helped that like April wasn't really too filled with like anything crazy. There wasn't any like major beefs or like no major albums, unless the ones that I like already spoke about on like my social channels. But nothing really like major, nothing involving artists, like no issues came up, like I said. But before we get into this episode, before I start talking about the news, like always, like this video, like all my other videos on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, comment, let me know what you guys think. Follow me on IG and on TikTok. And you already know I really appreciate all the support and love that I've gotten so far. It makes me feel really good. I might not be the best at this, but I'm definitely improving and I've shown a lot of growth as well. So I really appreciate it. Also, I apologize if y'all hear me sniffling or if like my face turns like red or my nose does. I'm like sneezing in between while I'm talking about stuff. Like, you're not gonna see it obviously because I'm gonna edit it out. Like, that's embarrassing, of course. But again, shout out to my people who got allergies, like we're trying our best to survive out here. It's really a war. But let me pull up my notes, let's get into it. So the first piece of news that I got revolves around Lil Wayne. As you all know, the Carter 6 is coming out June 6th. I've been anticipating this since like last year, and I'm really excited. He just announced his features a few weeks ago. He's been really talking about it. He gave us like a little release date trailer. And now he's doing his first headlining show at MSG on the 6th for the album. I think that's dope. Honestly, like I really want to go. He's one of the GOATs. Like, who wouldn't want to see him live? And people are complaining that he's not really a performer, that he doesn't really do this and that. But keep in mind, like, he's getting older. So I don't expect him to like do like some stuff like Jaleel and just backflip off everything or like dance around like Chris Brown or something, like it's Lil Wayne, regardless. Like, you're still there for a good time. You're there for some timeless music. I think it's gonna be lit. And if that show is successful, I could definitely see him going on tour. And if he goes on tour, it's gonna be one of the biggest tours, to be honest, because he's been doing a lot of shows with, like Hot Boys and all of that. So I could definitely see him tapping them and telling them to come along with him. And I think that'd be dope. That'd be a fire experience. But let me know if you guys are anticipating this album as well. We got Young Miko next. So she released a song called WASSUP. Young Miko is a fire Latin trap artist, somebody that I've been listening to for the past couple years. She released a new single called WASSUP, and then she released a video, and the song is fire. It samples Lil Wayne's Lollipop, and I think she did a really good job with the sample. And it's really a track that I've been playing like consistently, like anywhere I go or even in the crib. It sounds so good. Definitely go check it out. She did a really good job. If you're a Latin trap fan or if you just like listening to Spanish music, go check it out. It's fire. And let me know if you guys enjoyed the way that she sampled Lil Wayne's Lollipop. I think she did a great job, to be honest. I don't got no issues on my side. Next, we got Kendrick Lamar. So my guy's just been having a great run this year, a great run last year. He's been doing really good. So he recently started narrated in Gatorade's newest ad. Gatorade has stated that this is their largest celebrity brand campaign. He is also the first artist in a commercial for them. He recently became Chanel's newest brand ambassador as well. Personally, I feel like that was a given. I saw that coming from like a mile away. For the past couple of years, he's been wearing Chanel all the time. He's been going to their shows. I don't really think that the amount of fame that he recently just like received from a lot of stuff really had like something to say in that. I feel like it was just something that was gonna happen anyway. And I'm really interested to see like what he's gonna like, bring to the table for them. I think it's gonna be dope. And he also, kicked off his tour with SZA a few weeks ago, and it's been doing really, really good. Despite him just like trolling Drake. So he made a fake deposition video, referenced Lil Wayne's old video from a few years ago. And he was just trolling Drake. The person speaking to him was saying drop, drop, drop. I believe it segues into Not Like Us.
Okay, does this ring a bell? Drop, 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 drop.
And I think that's like the funniest thing ever because y'all know Drake likes to troll and everybody loves when Drake trolls. I mean, I love when Drake starts trolling people. I think it's funny. So just to see him get all that back from Kendrick, like I think it's hilarious because I never really took Kendrick as that type. But this whole beef really showed you like a different kind of side of Kendrick in a way. But speaking about his tour, his first show, it broke records. It grossed over $9 million and it became the highest grossing rap concert ever just off the first show. And that's crazy. Get your bread, get your money up. That's fire. And he became the first rapper in history to do this. Eminem recently had that title for a show he did in Melbourne back in 2019. But Kendrick is out here just doing his thing like always. But I could definitely see it breaking more records, and I believe it did as well. I think he currently has like the highest grossing tour. I believe I seen that like 2 days ago. So shout out to K Dot doing his thing. But now let's talk about SZA. She recently announced her makeup line. It's called Not Beauty. So it's only being sold during their tour, and I think that's smart. Just selling stuff only during the tour definitely is going to guarantee her a bag. Her album Sauce also surpassed Adele's 21 for the most weeks in the top 10 on the Billboard 200 among albums by women. It spent more than 85 weeks so far. I don't see it going anywhere because I feel like this is probably her best project. Like her next couple albums are going to be really good, but I don't think anything's going to surpass this album, to be honest. But she deserves, everything that's coming her way. Like SZA's always been a great artist, and I always enjoyed her music. I think she's one of the best artistically, one of the best creative artists that we got out here. And then, speaking about labels and everything, we got Ari Lennox next. So she recently exited her deal with Dreamville. She just recently performed at Dreamville Fest, so that was probably her last one, possibly. And before that, she released her song, Softcore Era. She's been teasing a new album as well. So it's confirmed that she's going to be a solo act within Interscope Records, that her departure from Dreamville was, amicable. There's like no negativity on either side. Everything was just straight. Like, all right, cool. We accepted. It's cool. We got love for you. She got love for them. I think that's great. But if you remember a few months ago, she did go on social media to talk about like her situation with both labels. I spoke about this like on one of my earlier episodes. So this is a great segue to tell you to go check it out. Great advertisement. But she had mentioned that the label didn't know how to market her, that they weren't really investing too much into her, that they weren't protecting her. And I understand that, even before this, she had an issue when she was on Rod Wave's tour with the fans. They were being like real nasty to her and she wasn't really connecting with them, which I don't understand why like they put her on that tour. A lot of people were like trying to blame her, this and that, but keep in mind like the label is the one that really like chooses and does all of this stuff behind the scenes. But I just never understood why they chose her specifically because they don't really make the same kind of music. They don't have that same sound. There isn't really anything similar between the music that they make. She could have been on like any other R&B artist tour. There were so many R&B artists going on tour around that time as well. But I'm really happy that she found a way to get out of this deal, get out of her deal with Dreamville. Dreamville, I love Dreamville. I think they have a great roster of artists. I think J. Cole is one of the best. Like he's the GOAT. But if this was something that wasn't really working towards improving her career or like she wasn't really getting anything positive out of it, then, by all means, you made the right decision. Do what's best for you. And I'm happy that she did that. I'm happy that she's out of this. I'm happy that she's focusing on music. I'm happy that she's in a better space. And hopefully, like, she gets all the recognition and fame that she deserves because I do feel like she should be a bigger artist. So I'm really excited to see what she's going to release and, hopefully it comes out soon. But shout out to Ari Lennox for making just great moves and, doing things that better herself. Not a lot of artists are vocal about things that are going on with their label. But, speaking about new albums coming out, speaking about new music coming out, we got Travis Scott next. So Travis Scott is just teasing everybody with Jack Boys 2. He released a video on social media teasing a new track. He even has merch available for pre-order for the album right now. Like, bro, those prices are amazing. They got a $16 vinyl. I'm copping that. It's $16. You can't beat that. He has a DVD for the album. He has a CD. He got a few box sets, with the t-shirts. Everything looks pretty fire. So this definitely means that the album is around the corner and he's been teasing it like left and right. I'm super excited for it. I think it's going to be fire. He played like two new songs at Coachella. He has a song out with Sheck West from Sheck's new album coming out soon. I've been playing that song nonstop, but I'm really excited for this album. I think it's going to be really fire. And then speaking about more new music coming out, we got the last artist that I want to talk about, which is Young Thug. So my guy is back. He's back on the music scene, releasing music. So he officially announced, I don't even know how to say it. I think it's UI Scooty. He announced his album. He has links for pre-orders. I pre-ordered both vinyls. I love vinyls. I have a whole vinyl collection. And it's Young Thug. Like, he don't really disappoint when it comes to his albums, in my opinion. I think each one is like a hit, to be honest. He also recently dropped Money on Money with Future. So throughout the video, he had references from Jay-Z and Kanye's Otis. Future sampled his viral meme, She Belongs to the Streets. Young Thug also has some bars for Gunna. He calls him a rat. He says, Twin, you a pack. Even some of the lyrics from the first verse of the song was just aimed at Gunna. And all of this happened after like YSL just wiped all traces of Gunna from IG. Gunna also teased a new track as well. And he basically was sending shots at Young Thug. He said, let him be goofy. I got a master plan. So I could see like a potential beef like boiling. I feel like that's gonna happen soon. Do I think it's gonna be one of the biggest beefs? No, I don't. Like, if you really think about it, Gunna's a great artist. His style of music is fire. And then there's Young Thug. Like, Young Thug makes fire music too, but he's not really like the best lyricist. And Gunna isn't either. So I feel like this beef is gonna be cool and all. Like, it's gonna build up more hype for Young Thug's album as well, but I don't really think it's gonna be like one of the craziest things. I feel like it's probably gonna be like mid at best. But I mean, I'm excited for it. If it happens, it happens. That's cool. But since last year, there's been so many rap beefs, and it's just like we need a break to be honest, because it's just too much, bro. Like people are still talking about Drake and Kendrick to this day, and it's all cool and whatnot. But after a while, it does get tiring. Like it really has been a year. I understand that's one of the biggest ones, but it's just a lot to be honest. But speaking about Kendrick, Young Thug also had an interview with GQ recently where they asked him about Kendrick and how he name dropped him on Not Like Us. Young Thug stated that he's a Drake fan. He's always been on Drake's side. He even gave his thoughts on who like the leaders of Atlanta is for him. He spoke about his relationship with Gunna and didn't really say anything, so I guess that speaks for itself. And the song does as well, like I said. He also revealed that his probation only limits social posts and not his rap lyrics. And that was one of the things that I was like really curious about. I wanted to know like if he could still talk about the same thing or if he's gonna like say the same things. But now it turns out that, he just can't really post anything or like promote it, I guess. And he also said that he never lost his edge when it came to music, that he was always listening to music in jail and even when he was in court. So that it's still up to par, with everything that he's been releasing previously. And it turns out that his new album might actually come out May 9th. Mariah the Scientist made this comment on social media. That could possibly be the date for the album. A lot of people are saying, yeah. I feel like it's probably just speculation or maybe like she just wanted to just troll or gas it. But if it does come out May 9th, I'm here. Like I'm gonna listen to it, obviously. This is something I'm definitely looking forward to. This is probably gonna be like one of the biggest releases of the year, to be honest. But that's it for the news. Now we're gonna get into our album reviews. I only really have two things that I want to talk about. Like I said, I know Ray Bond dropped. I have to listen to it. I still haven't heard it. But I think I might just make like a video for that on social media and just talk about it. I know First Letter He that dropped. I still haven't had a chance to listen to that. There was another Latin artist that dropped too that I've been wanting to check out for a while. I know Jacob Lattimore dropped. I know Isaiah Foles dropped. I still haven't heard those albums. Like I said, like I really been struggling with these allergies. But the one album that I really do want to talk about is Glockaveli. That was like the main album that I was anticipating for May, to be honest. But before I really get into that, let me talk about this one project. It's from Rosama. It's called Orange Tape. 7 songs, 17 minutes long. The features are Big X the Plug, That Mexican OT, and Duke Deuce. So, like I said, this project is only 17 minutes long. It's only 17 minutes long, but it's so good. Like this whole thing was really fire. I didn't really like expect it to be this good. So I heard it in the whip first. It was fire. Heard it in the crib. It was fire. Put my headphones on and heard it. Still fire. So like I said, it's only 17 minutes. Take that time to listen to it because this is a really good project. Osama was really just flowing on here, bro. Like the production was fire. His beat selection was amazing. His delivery, his flow. My favorite songs is Microwave and Shit Popper. So Microwave features Big X the Plug, and I love Big X the Plug. Like I'm a really Big X the Plug fan. He has such a unique sound when it comes to his beats and just the way that he raps, like his voice, his delivery, his flows is always good. And what I like about Big X the Plug is that you know that it's a Big X the Plug song when you just hear it because he has such a unique sound. Another artist that I feel this way about is Mexican OT. He's on this project too, but he's just another artist who I'm like really finding myself like enjoying his music. Like I really enjoy his music. I love when there's Hispanic rappers. Like he does a good job of rapping. I love how he rolls his R's when he's rapping. He could really spit. He really has bars. So my second favorite song is Shit Popper. Like when I first heard this, I immediately added it to my favorites because he was really going off. His flow and his verses was just great. Like there's so many bangers on here. And it's only 17 minutes long, which sucks. But it still feels like a good amount of time. And it's something that you could really replay over and over and over again. So definitely go check it out because this is a fire project. It's called Orange Tape. Please go listen to it because it was just too fire. And now we're on to the next album. You know, like I said, Glockaveli, Key Glock, 18 songs, 46 minutes long, no features. And he didn't need no features. He really did his thing on this album, bro. Like, he really did not need no features. And I'm happy about that because I genuinely feel like if there was any features on this album, I feel like they wouldn't be able to keep up with him because Key Glock really snapped on here. Like, he really did his thing. Like this album is just straight gas. I really enjoyed this album. It's so much fun to listen to. It gives you like it's one of those albums that get you like mad hyped and just build up like this energy for you. Like it feels like you about to like take over the world when you listen to this, and I love it. I love the energy that it gives off. You know, his last album, Glaucoma 2, was one of my favorite albums that came out of 2023. It was in my top 10 for sure because I didn't expect to really enjoy it as much as I did. I didn't expect to play it as much as I did. And it was amazing. But he did say that he took a break off music for like a year just to focus on like his personal life and just fixing some things. And that's understandable as every artist should. Even as a person, like just go take care of the things that are like really lingering for you. And then once you handle that business, come back outside and do your thing. And that's exactly what he did. He came back, did his thing, and dropped possibly one of my favorite albums of the year. You know, I think Key Glock is a dope artist. He's a dope rapper. I love his beat selections. I love his production. You know, his music is something that I could always find myself enjoying. I could play it whenever and just have like this really nice energy from it. And that's what I really love about his projects. That's what I really love about him as an artist. Regardless of what he's rapping about or what he's saying, bro, all his music is fire and you're just gonna enjoy it off rip. You know, he's from Memphis and you could really hear like the South on here. You could really hear that Memphis sound. He's carrying Young Dolph's legacy on his back, you know, rest in peace to Young Dolph. And I feel like the reason why he doesn't have a feature on this album is because he really doesn't want to work with other artists other than Young Dolph. But like I said, bro, no features, yo. He hit us with like a J. Cole. And it's hard to find artists that aren't really doing no features because a lot of artists now really rely on them. Even if it's like a big artist, they really rely on features to like make a track pop. But from beginning to end, this whole album was just really good. Like the intro track is what really hooked me. And I've said this multiple times, you know, all albums should have a good intro song. And that's what he really delivered, and that's what hooked me instantly. So the intro track is called Hallelujah. This track was fire. This is just one of the examples of how creative he is. You know, he blends trap with gospel music. I love just how raw and how confident his delivery was. And he keeps that consistent throughout the entire album, to be honest. But he also plays with like a lot of soul samples on here. Like an example of this is from Glockaveli, the title track. At first, I didn't really enjoy it as much, but then when I went back to listen to it the second time, I was actually really, like fucking with it. Like I changed my mind completely. I'm like, wow, this is actually a really good track. And then the other song that's an example of a soul sample is Made Away. I think Made Away is a fire track. You know, he's just rapping about how he did it all on his own and how he like figured it out for himself. But these are perfect examples of like those soul samples because Key Glock is one of those artists that like will always like give you a nice beat, a nice production. And I know that's the reason why a lot of people like listen to his music because he really doesn't miss when it comes to his beat selection. Like it's always like top tier. And it just makes me like kind of wonder like what's his thought process when he like selects these beats or when he makes them? Like what goes through his head when he's like choosing a sample or like what does he do when it comes to producing? But speaking about samples, he samples the Keith Sweat song. It's the Nobody song. But Key Glock's song is called Sweat. And I love how he flipped it around because he's pretty much saying that like, y'all can't pressure me. Like I'm not scared to do what I need to do. Like y'all not about to see me like feel bad or hesitate. I'm really about to just do what I need to do and that's it. Keep it pushing. As he should, as everybody should, to be honest. Like, if there's something y'all need to do out here and y'all really want to do it, go ahead, do your thing. Nobody should stop you. And if people just start copying you and just start hating on you and, like, doing some weird stuff, let them do whatever they got to do, bro. At the end of the day, like, you're going to be better off than them. That's really what he was saying on here, and I really enjoyed that message because it's true. Then, one of my favorite songs is called Badu. Like Erykah Badu, the last name Badu. He samples Erykah Badu's Didn't You Know? He uses the beginning of the vocals on that track where it's kind of like building into the first verse. This is one of my favorite songs. It's fire. A lot of artists sample Erykah Badu and a lot of artists sampled the song and also On and On. And he really did it justice and he really made it his own. Like, definitely go listen to this track. This track is fire. This is another track that, like, I immediately started and added to my playlist. 90% of this album is, like, on my favorites because this album is just so good. There's another song called Grinch on here as well that people are saying that he sampled Friday, like the movie Friday, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. But I could see why people are saying that. It's because of the horns that he used on the track. It does sound like something that they use in the movie Friday. But if it is, like, it definitely adds more to the album. I think it'll be fire. But if it's not, it's still a good song, so definitely go check it out. But I love how he just kept everything like consistent throughout the entire album, like all of the things that he was rapping about, about his upbringings, things that he needs to do, how he made it out the mud. The only issue that I had with this album is that it felt like it was too long. Keep in mind, this album is 18 songs, 46 minutes. So after like track 12, 13, it really did sound like very repetitive, but it wasn't because of the beats. It was just because of his flow. He kind of kept it the same for the majority of the project. But the thing is, I didn't mind it in the beginning because the beats were just like very different, that it made it sound like a different song entirely, obviously because it's a different beat, but still there are some artists who like have the same flow on every song where it just sounds like the same thing over and over again. But that's what I mean when I say his production is like what really shines about him. But I feel like after like track, I think it was like 12 or 13, I'm not really too sure. It just was like, sounds like the same thing. I don't really enjoy this. So I think he should have just cut it off at like track 12. And I feel like the album would have just been like really perfect. And maybe the other additional songs that like he cut off, he could have done like a deluxe for it, just added those tracks afterwards. Since like a lot of artists are doing deluxe albums now where they add like three, four more songs. But that's my only issue with it. Like it just sounded repetitive towards the end. But other than that, like this album is fire. I give it like a solid 9 out of 10. But definitely go check this out. Glockaveli, great album. For sure, it made my top 10. Like for real, like that's in my top 10 for this year when I make my top 10 list at the end. But go check it out. Go stream this. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it because a lot of people have been talking about this on social media as well. So do yourself a favor and go listen to Rose Sama too. Orange Tape. But that's the end of the episode. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you guys just sticking through the whole thing. Like always, follow me on social media. Like this episode, like my other episodes, subscribe to my channel. My Instagram and my TikTok are here as well. Go like and follow. I really appreciate all the love I've been getting recently. Thank you guys so much. Share this with your family, your friends, people at work, anybody who could listen, like I always say. And also, happy Star Wars Day, yo. Because I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I know a lot of people are too. Like, I even got my Star Wars shirt on. May the Fourth be with you on some nerd shit. I don't care. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Also, happy Cinco de Mayo, for all my Hispanics that celebrate it. But keep an eye out for my, video for Kendrick's tour. I'm gonna make one of those coming out in the next couple of days after this episode. But like always, hope you guys all enjoyed your weekend. Hope you guys all have a great week ahead, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.